Welcome back to the big show from Las Vegas. It's Alex talking to the stars of the strip, and it's always nice to meet some new people from a show that I've seen time and time and time again. And I got to be honest with you, I never get bored seeing Mystere, which is here at TI. Dina, how are you?
Oh, I'm very well. How are you, Alex?
I'm really good. Nice to talk to you, and also to Carl.
Very nice to meet you, and great to talk to you.
Lovely LA accent there.
Not quite. A little bit further east, I would say. Quite a bit.
You're from Portsmouth?
Portsmouth, England, yes.
All right, let's start with you then. How do you go from being a little boy in Portsmouth, doing nothing, to one of the biggest shows in the world?
It was a long journey, which started with my gymnastics career back in England, and was fortunate enough to compete for Great Britain, and then gained a gymnastics scholarship to Penn State University in the States.
You're the coach here at Mystere, and let me tell you, this show never ceases to amaze. It is dangerous beyond the belief in our perception of the audience, and it's so precise. Your guys work so hard. How difficult is it keeping them on track day in, day out, 2 shows a night?
Well, that's a constant struggle, being on the verge of calamity in each of the acts, so to speak, and constant battle keeping the cast healthy, and lots of practicing, and we have a great cast.
I'd say why I love Mystere more than anything is the fact that it seems to be the most authentic of all the Cirque shows here on the strip. Some have gone bigger just to prove they can be bigger. Some have gone the way of Beatles or Elvis and the new Michael Jackson shows coming soon. But this is a true circus with phenomenal talent.
Yes, it's the classic Cirque Du Soleil in every sense. I think people should always see Mystere first, just for that very reason. That's the benchmark.
And of course, the great thing about Cirque is the majesty of it, the way that your guys come on and do their thing. And then to complement that is the tremendous music, beautifully sung and put together by people like Dina. How is it to watch them every night and do your thing on the sidelines?
Well, you know, it's interesting you mentioned that because the band and the singers, we see the show every single night. We watch every single show. And I have to say, I never, ever get tired of it. And I still get completely excited watching certain acts. And it's very inspiring.
Tell us what you do, because the way you sing is so beautiful and almost ethereal, isn't it?
Oh, thank you. Well, the style of the Mystere music is really, really beautiful because it kind of ranges from like almost a classical choral sound and what you might call an ethnic folk music sound. It's very pure. It's not very pop sounding at all. It's much more sort of I don't know, mysterious, just like the name of the show. But it's definitely not really a pop music sound, and so for me, I like that because I have a very eclectic training, so it's perfect for me.
And knowing that I was talking to you today, I listened a bit more closely to the music, and it's almost operatic in places, isn't it? Yeah,
some places it is, but it needs a flexible kind of singer who can change styles, because some of the pieces sound operatic, and then some of them were inspired by like African pygmy folk singing, and so you have to be able to switch back and forth like that.
Tell me again.
African pygmy folk singing.
Right. What exactly is that then? I haven't seen it in the charts recently.
Well, there's this tribe that has this amazing vocal style where they kind of do a little yodel and a very nice high kind of sound, and so that's in the Kunya Sobe song as the inspiration. We're not trying to sound like them, but it was an original inspiration for the composer.
Should we ever listen to that?
It's something like Kunya Sobe Manievo Sade Kunya Sobe Manievo. So it's kind of like a folk tune or something.
I love the heart you have to sing this twice a night, because really both of you are in the same camp, that you don't get any glory because the guys who are on stage get all the glory, but you're really doing the hard work, because without you they wouldn't get on stage, and without you there'd be no music.
It's true, and I must say, in Mystere, the band is always visible, but we're up above on some platforms, and we're not super well lit. So people see us, but we're not really in the spotlight. But that's all right, because I know that we're so much part of the atmosphere. And, you know, Cirque is known for having wonderful live music, except for the concept shows like Love, but that's a different thing altogether. But the live music is such an important part of the show. So we can be with the tricks. Whatever they do, we're going to be synchronized with them, no matter what.
I really think that they ought to replan the show and make an announcement at the beginning that the music is live and the singing is live, because I'm not sure everybody is aware that it is, because it's so beautifully done and the sound is so perfect. Do you know what I mean?
Well, thank you. And it's true, unfortunately, unless people look up there, sometimes they'll see the whole show and not realize that it's live. And in fact, a friend of mine had visitors, guests, up in our light booth, which is behind some plexiglass. And after the show, they said, oh, well, that couldn't have been live music because the singing was so perfectly in tune the whole time. It had to be a recording. So that was a great compliment to us.
And of course, your job is to make this spectacular and for nothing to go wrong, although I'm sure things do go wrong all the time because it's live. It'd almost be easier if the whole show was taped. It would make your life much easier, wouldn't it?
Well, not so much, because when surprisingly often we are improvising to a certain degree where we'll have to maybe add something or take something away or do something a little quicker. So the live musicians pick up on that and stay right with us.
What's really interesting about this show more than any other, I think, is the places in which your cast appear, whether it be from above, from below, from the sides. There's an element of danger with the set as well. It always amazes me how everybody really has to be so aware that they can have their leg or arm chopped off at any point.
You're so right. I mean, there's, of course, technological safeguards to stop that when the lifts are moving. If people are in the wrong place and they trip certain sensors, then everything will grind to a halt. But yes, when it's dark, lights are changing, there's a lot of smoke, there's holes that appear that weren't there 5 seconds ago, and the cast are running from one side of the stage to the other for their next cue or their act. It is a well choreographed scramble, so to speak. If you saw what happens backstage, you'd be quite amazed and surprised.
I've said this to all the cast, and I'm repeating myself, but I almost would pay to see the show backstage more than front stage, because I'm sure it's even more interesting.
It's very entertaining. A lot of the artists have their little rituals too that they perform backstage before they go out on their acts. Some of them are strange, unusual, and funny. And yes, it would be a good place to see the show.
What is it like being around all these gorgeous people all the time? I mean, I just feel totally insecure.
Well, sometimes in that act, the high bar act, which is near the end, and it's basically all incredibly buff guys not wearing very much, spinning around on poles right above me. And
you're making this sound like a strip club.
Well, I think they have a little more complicated things to do than that. But I must say, though, seriously, I enjoy being able to see the beauty of both the males and the females. I mean, everybody is just in such beautiful condition. It's very inspiring. And there's all sorts of different kinds of people, too. Everyone doesn't look the same, because they do different things in the show. So there's just all sorts of lovely characters and different qualities.
Carl, you're really one of the most important people here at Mystere. If I were to take my clothes off now, could I audition?
I would refer you to casting at our corporate office as the first stage, but they would require a video.
Oh, no, I don't do video. No, I'll stick to radio if that's all right. The incredible thing about this is the reaction of the audience and watching them, especially when your people start messing around with them, because you're not necessarily safe in this show, are you?
Nobody is really safe as a spectator. You could become part of the show.
I came with a lady about 2 years ago who is very, very proud of her hair and has it done twice a week. And we were in totally the wrong seat, and she ended up with popcorn all over it. It didn't go down well.
There's some people play along and are very happy to be a part of the show. And unfortunately, every now and again, there are patrons that dislike their participation.
That Brian is a tease, isn't he, really?
Yes, absolutely.
What is it like for you coming in every day and doing it twice? Because vocally, this is a challenging score, we know that. But then to have to do it a second time, are you almost wanting to kill yourself by the end of the first show?
Well, sometimes about 2/3 of the way through the second show, I feel a little bit fatigued. I'm actually more mentally fatigued than physically fatigued because, believe it or not, I'm a bit older and I've been doing this so long that I have really good stamina now vocally, so I don't get so tired. But sometimes the repetition can get a little bit, it makes you weary unless you just kind of keep the right attitude. And then I'll look at something else that I don't normally look at on stage, for example, and that'll just pep me right up. It's really great. But it definitely takes a certain certain kind of person to be able to do 10 shows a week, and we haven't always had singers who could handle it. It takes strength and determination, good training, and just a certain kind of attitude, I think.
And also, you can't have too much personality. You've got to have an amazing voice, but you can't start ad-libbing because it literally is to the second, isn't it?
Absolutely. Also, it's a duo. There are two singers, and we have solos, but we sing a lot together as a duo. So it's really not like a diva show. We're not in the spotlight, and there's not one star or something like that.
I'm going to ask you both the same question finally. How many shows are there at Mystere? Because what I mean is you look one way and there's a show going on there, and you look another and there's another show going on. I mean, I've counted about 13 so far.
I guess it would have to be as many as are on stage, or maybe as many artists as we have, which is over 70. Is that right, Carl?
Approximately 75 artists.
Yeah.
Carl and Dina, thank you for talking to me, especially after your 2 shows. You must hate me this evening. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, no, it's fun to meet new people, and thank you for enjoying the show so much.
And you have a tremendous voice and really a beautiful talent. Thank you for talking to me.
Oh, my pleasure. Very, very nice to meet you.
And Carl, congratulations on a wonderfully put together show. Thank you.
Thank you so much.